A few months ago, we set out on the biggest road trip of our lives. Our new mission is to drive our van Vinny all the way from Alaska down to the very south of Argentina. But in order to pull that off, we first have to cross the border into the continental US, which is something that we've been super nervous about for months now. That might sound dramatic, but the US has some of the strictest borders in the world, and people actually get denied entry pretty regularly. Recently, another travel vlogger that we follow was even detained and handcuffed when she tried to enter the US. If they don't let us in, then this whole trip, this whole mission that we've dedicated most of this year to, it all ends here today.
So we're now here in Vancouver on the west coast of Canada, and this thick line you see that we've drawn on this map is where we've driven all across Canada, all the way from the east coast in Halifax, through all of Canada, all the way up to Alaska, and then back down to BC and Vancouver. This line you see here is the US border, so we're actually pretty close, and today we're going to cross into the US, the lower 48, and cross the border and drive all the way to Seattle right here.
Get the show on the road, baby!
Yep. Yeah.
From the north of Vancouver, it is about a 1-hour drive to reach the border crossing of Peace Arch. On our way there, we have to make one very important stop though, because there's a problem with the van and we don't think it would be a good idea to attempt to cross borders. So on this side, the light will be fine until it's resolved. But on this side, we've got nothing.
Which isn't very safe, especially when it gets dark. We just happened to drive by a Ford garage.
So you just screw it out for the back, okay. Oh, I can see it moving. Light. Light. Woo! 50 Canadian dollars. And it was done, which is a lot better than the last time we had to have work on Vinny done. Vinny's ready for the US!
Fingers crossed, fingers crossed. Just a few more kilometers till we get to the US border.
So earlier this year, when we decided we wanted to do this trip and we would be visiting the USA as part of this trip, we actually applied for a US visa because as we have been to Iran in the past as tourists and as Iran is blacklisted for the US, we are no longer able to just enter the US on an ESTA. If we want to go to the US, even just for a layover, let alone for a couple of weeks, we have to arrange for a tourist visa, which is why we jumped through a bunch of hoops earlier this year. We flew all the way to Riga in Latvia to have a US visa interview, and that cost us a bunch of money just to be able to get the interview, get the flights, go to Riga, stay there.
In the US, the border officers are trained to assume that you're going there and not leaving, and you kind of have to prove them otherwise. We did get a 10-year visa, which is like already a really good sign because another border officer checked all our paperwork and all that stuff, but that doesn't mean you're allowed to enter.
We are on a longer term trip, which might make it more difficult to prove that we're gonna be leaving like soon and stuff, and we are bringing our house with us and everything, so
we're not staying, we're just bringing our house.
we're just hanging out with our house in your country.
And if they don't allow us in, I mean, this trip's over. Like all our trip going from Alaska to Argentina, it just stops after 3-4 months. So looks like we're not the only people who want to cross into the US today. There's about 50 to 70 cars here, I think, about 50.
Car documents, passport, international driver's license. We're ready.
Hi, sir.
Hi.
Hi.
There you go.
Where do you folks live?
Belgium, a long way from home.
Where did you go?
We went to Alaska and then we went to Vancouver Island and now we're here.
When did you arrive in the U.S.? Why are you spending so much time in the U.S.?
Because we want to see the country. We love it and want to explore a little bit.
Yeah, I need the side door open so I can see inside.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. They gave us this orange slip, which means you have to go to the Department of Homeland Security, U.S. Customs and Border Protection Agricultural section. They asked us what sort of vegetables and fruits and stuff we had in the van, where we acquired them. We were just like,
Took our sweet potatoes, 4 sweet potatoes.
I don't care about the sweet potatoes.
Checked the van a little bit.
But it's not clear, like we still have to pass. He said we still have to go through immigration.
Give this to the guy that sits here.
Have a good evening.
Okay, thank you. They opened the barrier. We can drive here.
I think
that's it.
we made it!
We made it into the US. Woohoo!
I was so stressed when they made us pull over, when they started asking us questions. Like,
oh, no.
I don't know what it is about border inspections, but as soon as we pull up to the first booth, guys started asking us questions like, I could forget my name. That's how nervous I get. The first American state we will pass through on our way south from here, as we head further down towards Argentina, is Washington. And starting from there, over the next few weeks, we're going to do a big road trip of the west coast of the US, slowly driving more and more south. Because for the next many months, that is the plan. We go south. We can stop off wherever we like along the way, but we don't stop going south until we've reached the end of the world in Argentina, the southernmost point of the Americas. I'm guessing there are bears here too, because we're not that far out from Vancouver, so we're gonna bring our bear spray. Actually, we're gonna bring both our bear sprays for double safety.
This is just incredible.
This forest is incredible.
Feels like we've gone like in 3 hours from like summertime to fall suddenly. Wow, this is beautiful. That's the Pacific Northwest for you. Trail of falling is perfect for us. Lazy boy. The really cool thing about moving so much around and visiting always new places, that you always get that sense of wonder. I know, even just like this forest, we've been near the mountains and the ocean for so long, which is probably objectively cooler, but now that you're here, this is like
a completely different vibe.
Yeah.
And it's a vibe, like it's really cool here.
It's really a vibe, and it's so beautiful, and it really gives me that sense of wonder, just like look around, look at the mossy trees, and that is one tall tree.
After our hike, we continued driving towards Seattle as we enjoyed our first sunset here in the lower 48 states. And we're pleasantly surprised actually as we went to our first Washington grocery store. This store is much cheaper than any store we've seen in Canada or in Alaska. For a lot of stuff in terms of vegetables and things like that, it's like 30 to 50% cheaper in Canada and Alaska.
Yeah.
It's such a massive difference.
It's crazy how much cheaper it is. We got this whole shopping cart for $160, and we had like a lot of stuff that's expensive, like items for the bathroom and deodorant and all that stuff. So it actually makes me feel a bit less like uncomfortable, anxious about our financial situation. Everything has been going like expensive and more expensive. Gas prices going up, insurance prices is going up, like everything is going up, and like it was so expensive, but now it's like helps a little bit.
Now it was getting late and it was time to look for a spot to park the van and spend the night. We almost never ever go to campsites since we're penny pinchers, and even if we weren't, we prefer to just be free and maybe wing it a little bit. Although winging it in the suburbs of Seattle was maybe something we weren't fully prepared for anymore. In Canada and Alaska, we spent so much time in wilderness where we could just pretty much park wherever we wanted and spend the night there. But here, the options are a bit more limited because you're so close to a major city.
Alright, we're about 10-15 minutes outside of the city center of Seattle. We're in a quiet neighborhood. I found a spot on iOverland, which is an app we use. Like other campers use this app and they mark spots where you can camp. And this is one that was marked, but I don't know, I can't really.
The only odd car on this street is the one over there that we just drove past. So if possible, I would like to avoid parking too close to that.
Seems like somebody's living in this car, but...
And there are several things outside and the car looks really messy.
Yeah,
and
so
all the
much...
windows are open, the trunk's open, and it looks weird. So
There's so much trash and stuff like that. So...
lying around the car, it's really weird.
A little bit further maybe?
A little bit further. We're not concerned. I'm not concerned at all, but just like... Perfect. It's interesting how most days I don't realize this at all, but there is actually so much in doing this trip and in our lives right now, living in our van, traveling around, that's just really uncertain. I notice it especially on days like today because all the stuff around the border crossing, etc. It brings a lot of uncertainty with it. What if it doesn't work out? What will we do then? Finding a space to park for the night when there's like weird cars around and stuff and you have to sleep basically in the middle of the street where people usually do not sleep, and just park your van there and call it home and hope nobody shows up and tries to make you leave your spot. And most days I don't even realize it anymore because it's become so normal to us. It's weird to think that we quit our jobs to do this full time. I was a lawyer and Naick was a financial consultant. We had a good stable life, a good stable income. And the short summary of what brought us to where we are now is we quit our jobs to go live in our car and not know where to sleep. So now I'm starting to get why people sometimes may think we're a little bit crazy for doing it. And probably we are a little bit crazy, but I like to think it's the good kind of crazy. One other thing that we also picked up last night is a pumpkin spice coffee mix. We figured instead of going to get a pumpkin spice latte, because it is now officially fall, we would make a pumpkin spice latte ourselves. And by we, I mean Naick.
Yeah, I was gonna say the exact same thing. Like by me, she means Naick.
It smells like gingerbread. This is gonna be the best coffee ever.
Alright, got some nice milk foam, just beating the milk.
Oh my God.
It is exactly where it's supposed to be.
It's quite good. I would have expected it to be a little bit sweet. It smelled a little bit sweet, but it's not. But it's quite good actually.
Alright, we're now in downtown Seattle. Surprise, surprise, finding a parking spot is not easy. Who would have thought?
Alright, the real test for Naick's parking skills. Can he squeeze it in here? Yeah. Yeah. Scream at him to confuse him. That is impressive.
After spending so much time in nature, it's so weird to be in like a big city, like a big proper city with skyscrapers. Look at this.
We're not in Alaska anymore, people. We're in a proper city with skyscrapers and people and traffic and no bears. I didn't even bring my bear spray.
Alright, first stop of the day. We're now in the area of Pike Place Market. beautiful market here. Oh, look at this, organic apple cider. I've never really had this much. You?
This is typical of the Pacific Northwest, no?
Yeah, I think so. You should try it. Apple cider, please.
It's like applesauce, but as a drink.
It really is. Got a bunch of things here, flowers, got some people selling honey and jams, got pretty much everything you can think of here. It's such a vibe here. Passed by this donut shop, making these donuts fresh. It's maple bacon donuts. I was like, is that even good? And then I thought, oh, I have to try some. Good. Oh, it's actually good. Like the sweetness and saltiness works perfectly together.
Seattle really is super, super beautiful, especially now. The light is hitting the water in such a beautiful way. Wow.
Yeah, this beachfront or oceanfront promenade.
And we're going
Amazing.
to one of the spots that has the best view of all of Seattle.
For sunset.
One of the best.
Alright, we took Vinny, drove into the top of the town. We are now at Kerry Park, which is some of the most beautiful views in all of Seattle. And we just parked in front of the viewpoint. Alright,
It is here. The viewpoint is, well, quite clearly, it's over here. Wow. No wonder there are so many people here. This is amazing. This is the perfect spot to see the skyline over the sunset.
I can't believe we get to park Vinny up here. How cool is this? That's what I'm most excited about almost.
We finally made it into the US, guys, and in the next video we are going to be driving south along the Pacific coast, further and further down to Argentina. Join us for that. Bye bye.